All right, what is up, guys? First episode of the SashaT Podcast A Whatnot original, and I'm here with my very special guest and good friend over the last couple of years, Ryan Veras. Ryan, thank you for coming in today.
Yeah, of course, my pleasure.
How's that LA traffic coming down? We were supposed to start, and Kyle knows this because Kyle's been waiting for a long time. We were supposed to start at 3:45.
I underestimated it.
I
underestimated it. You can't underestimate LA traffic. Just not something.
See, the thing is that I always go up to Burbank and I'm like, yo, bro, I gotta wait it out. Like, I gotta stay here for a little bit.
Yeah.
And in your head, you're probably like, what?
Yeah.
But now you finally get a little piece of the action.
Yeah. I mean, I told you, like, after the pod, I'm like, I gotta probably get back down because I gotta do something. And I'm looking at my traffic. I'm like, I'm probably just gonna chill here till like 10 o'clock tonight, and then I'll head back.
That's funny. Yeah. If you can, Ryan, put the mic just a little bit closer to you, just so people can hear it. But we're good. Yeah. But first, I feel like a lot of people know you in at least this live stream. But for like people that don't know who you are, kind of in the card world, can you kind of give like a little bit of background of yourself, the business you run, and just a little gist about that?
Yep. So full time now, 5 or 6 years in the card biz, and came in after a couple years in college, and grandfather wanted to retire. Dad wanted someone to help out who was knowledgeable in cards. And, I had a good background of working there since I was a kid every summer, basically. And it just came to a point where college didn't really make sense for me to continue for 2 more years.
Okay.
And business was doing pretty good. And
what year was this? Like
this was spring of 2015.
So what year were you in college? Like
I was in second year of college. So
okay.
I graduated high school.
So you're sophomore.
So I'm a sophomore in college, and I'm wrapping up the spring semester. And my grades are okay. They're nothing special. I didn't really have anything like that.
What was your major?
Computer science.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Grades were okay.
But you weren't in the business before then.
I was only working summers.
So like
as doing nothing. I was doing, I was sorting cards. I was doing like the manual labor. I was sweeping. I was
okay. So somebody like who's in cards that knows you would probably think that like you were like into cards like heavily when you were a kid, but it seems like that's really not the case.
Not the case. No.
Got you.
I would go to card shows. I would buy some Peja and some Dirk stuff just randomly for fun, but I didn't have a deep knowledge of cards until I really started in 2015, where I basically worked for a year or two. And just grinded for a year or two of cards.
Got you.
I didn't know anything really. I knew enough, but I didn't know everything I had to know coming into it. So if you were around the shop in 2015 or 2016, I wasn't the guy. Like there's no shot.
So it was your dad and your grandpa.
Yeah.
And that was it.
It was my dad and my grandpa, and then we had some staff. But if you came into the shop to buy something, you would deal with my dad, my grandpa, or me, maybe.
Okay, so then you basically quit college.
Yeah.
And you go full into the business.
Yep. 50, 60 hours a week. I was just working with my grandpa. I wasn't even working with Rob at all.
Got you.
So I wasn't, for the first year, I wasn't doing anything cards. I was just doing business. So taxes, payroll, accounting.
You were working on the back end of the business while Rob and your grandpa were kind of doing both? Or
the thing is, what you kind of have to realize, in 2015, 2016, the walk-in traffic was so abysmal that we got maybe 4, 5, 6 customers in a day.
That's crazy. So how much? So like, I sometimes you tell me like, yo, I spent this much in a day.
Yeah.
Like if you can, like, how much was like in 2015 or like 2010, like how much would you spend in a day?
I'm telling you, SashaT, we didn't even have single showcases for anything. We had cases for wax, but we didn't have cases for cards. So I'm telling you, when we wanted to buy, we would have to go to shows. We didn't really make a name for ourselves as a buyer until 2017 or 2018. There were no singles cases. It was just loaded with wax, and Rob didn't touch singles. Rob touched singles for online, but we're talking set fillers. You're talking inserts, parallels. But
that's like mind-boggling for me to think about.
We didn't do anything in store until 2017, really.
That's crazy.
I mean, you could come in and you could buy like 50-cent dollar cards. You could buy wax, but you couldn't come in and find a Jordan rookie.
So the business was basically structured as like online heavy.
Yeah.
And like there was a storefront, but like it wasn't essentially what it is now.
Yeah, exactly. So we wanted to be the best online. And we transformed ourselves into that from the early 2000s up until 2015, where you could go and you could buy all the 80 to 90, or you could buy basically anything you want vintage.
Yep.
You could buy anything under like $20 and you could find it in our online store.
So what was the point where, because now like if you walk, like if I'm a normal customer, I walk into Burbank, it seems like you're doing like 30 things at once.
Yep.
Like how does that go from like you going into the business, like working on the back end to like where you at now? Like where was that like transition period within, like, I mean, you, your dad and your grandpa, where it's like, all right, Ryan, like you're the guy now almost, you know what I mean? I mean, your dad does a ton, your grandpa does it. Honestly, I don't know how your grandpa like grinds like that. Like,
there's a crazy like timeline here, but basically it's like 2017. I'm tired of people walking in and asking for things that they can't find. So people are, you got any Jordan rookies? You got any blah, 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 blah. And I'm always like, no, we don't really do that. And it was always, we don't really do that. And then there came a time in very early 2017 where I was like, hey Dad, I'm going to blow out 2 of these showcases. And these are now single showcases.
Okay.
And at first we weren't even putting the stuff online. We were just saying, we were just buying stuff and putting it into the single showcases. And we had 2 showcases.
Yeah.
And it grew from that. And then people were like, oh, like these guys are now like buying on a much larger scale.
Okay.
So I started that. We started selling a decent amount of those cases. And then Rob was like, really kind of getting with me on it, but I had to fight him really the whole way to get this done.
Well, I think that's what a lot of people don't realize is like, I think within a business, and especially a family business, like I feel like a family business is like very, very tough. Like if I had to run like a business like with my dad, like I love my dad, don't get me wrong, but like that's tough, right? Like I mean, like and I see it within you guys bump heads all the time, but it's also like a good dynamic because like Rob, like you put a camera in front of Rob, like he'll go, like and like it seems like for you, like it's not like you don't like to be on camera, but like you're really good at like that, like the business of it. Like I feel like, you know what I mean? So like, do you think like, I guess my question is like, how do you feel about like running like a family business? Like what are the kind of the struggles you see? What are the benefits? Like, how is it like for you personally?
First and foremost, everything goes in with the basis of Rob built this from the ground up. From 89. All due respect. Rob built this from the ground up. He did it all himself. He had his employees along the way. I've been here since 2015, so like all respect like goes to my dad. Like, 100%. When I came in 2015, the market was okay. We were doing okay. Our margins were okay. Everything was okay. We could have rode that forever. But there's something about retail that Rob really likes, and there's a lot of stuff that he doesn't like. And I think he really tried to steer me in the way of, let's do the online e-commerce thing as much as we can, as opposed to the in-stores thing. It wasn't until I really started fighting him on it that he was like, all right, let's do this. And
in his head too, like why change? Like why kind of change what?
Why change what's working? Why are we going to start dropping $10,000, $15,000 a day? Which is nothing now. But that was a lot on inventory. And how are we going to move the inventory? How are we going to process it? How are we going to? So all of these questions I had to address myself, starting in 2017, 2018. First off, what structure are we going to use to buy things? What structure are we going to use to list things? What structure are we going to use to, now we're shipping all these graded cards. What's the new process for shipping a card over $1,000? Insurance, like stuff like that. I had to get us collectibles insurance. I had to get us direct with Topps. I had to get us direct with Panini. I had to get us direct with all these distributors. What people don't realize is we were direct with nobody. We had no distribution.
Isn't that weird to you though, that a lot of shops are like that? It's like they're a good shop, people know who they are, but they get like barely zero distribution. And then and then there's like a breaker that gets like a good amount. Is that weird?
No, it's not weird. It's not weird. We are in some ways the same way. It just comes down to money, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's how much you spend. There's these.
But you like, if you could, you would spend X amount like all day.
Yeah, but the margins are crazy.
Yeah.
The margins are crazy.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, your distributor has an algorithm that plug in how much they spend.
Yeah.
And they don't really care about how much you spend on new product. They want you to keep buying restocks, which is fine. Restocks, fuel a big part of this industry.
Yeah.
But how much you spend on restocks.
Yeah.
And then they use that to factor in your future allocations.
Got you.
So the guys that get a lot of allocations, they spend a lot on restocks, so up until that point in 2015, we had no dollars in anything. I had no allocations, nothing. We just got lucky at the time that we applied early before 2020, obviously. And then, we've been building since then.
So was the business in 2015 basically like, it was online heavy, but it was like when Rob takes you on that tour in the back, like, and shows all the raw cards and like how it's all simplified, and like that was that. I mean, that still is a big part of the business today, but that basically like was like most of the business.
That was everything.
That was everything.
We could go a day and do $500-$600 on the register in 2015.
And then the online business was the one that carried essentially everything.
Absolutely.
That's interesting.
Yep.
You brought I brought up allocation, and like basically you're telling me about kind of the struggles of it now. And this brings me up to a good point. Like, what do you think about from a card shop perspective, what do you think about Fanatics coming into the card game essentially?
I'm still unsure.
You're 50-50 kind of?
But I'm very, I have faith in these guys. Are smart people.
Yeah.
They don't get put in these positions for no reason. But at the same time, we're now all under a microscope as far as like things that they're going to try that will work and things that they're going to try that won't work. Everything's fluid.
Yeah.
So nothing, I'm pretty sure that there's no like plan that is like 100% set in stone.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be like, did this work? Let's.
Is Fanatics like already starting to communicate with card shops? Like, have you is there anything like that? There is
tons. Nothing. No. Like sign here and here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
But more taking in feedback as far as the distribution model goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How? I know like Josh is the one leading the way with Fanatics.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about him in general? He seems like a really smart dude, but
look at StockX.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's all you have to say about that.
So I mean, basically, like, if you believe in him, you kind of believe in like what. I feel like he's going to take care of shops, but I don't know.
Nobody knows for sure.
Yeah.
There's only so much one person can do, especially in a big company like Fanatics, right?
Yeah.
And
because the business is basically like direct to consumer, you're able to get the product.
Yeah.
But you'd assume that they would help out card shops.
You would assume so.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here, and this is 20. What day?
We got 3 years left? Is it 3 years of Panini left, or like 2 years still?
I think we have 2 or 3 years of Panini's basketball license.
And then it flips.
But I'm not 100% sure. But we're sitting here. Today's March 13th. It's 2022 for historical purposes. And Fanatics is in the early stages of the trading card world.
Yeah.
The next 2 years are going to be super, 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 super telling of the future of the card industry.
So what's like the perfect, let's play it this way. What's the perfect like scenario in your head for a card shop of like Fanatics coming in? Like, is it like, well, we get as much distribution as possible at like a certain percentage point where we could resell? Like what does that look like to you?
Oh, the ideal world is everyone on the same level playing field where you can buy as much as you want. The margins are already set in stone.
Yeah.
There's a level where you have to kind of be at for pricing wise.
Yeah.
But nobody can really come in and super like undercut you or anything like that.
Gotcha.
And then at that point it just works on, who can sell the most units.
Yeah.
And that's really the fairest way to do it. Because right now we get these allocations of things that are, obviously much cheaper than retail.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, well, how much have you spent the past 10 years?
Yeah.
And if you're getting into the game now, you're donezo.
Do you think a lot of I feel like with this transition happening, there's always going to be like shops and businesses that do really, really well, and like
Mhm.
shops and businesses that kind of go away.
There's
Like,
one secret to that. There's literally only
what's
one
the word?
secret.
You
I
tell
don't
me,
know if
Rye.
do you want me to give this away on camera?
I mean,
It's just it's a secret.
yeah. I mean, it's episode 1. We gotta
it's
give
episode
we
one.
gotta give the juice.
The juice. How many hours a week do you put into your shop?
Got you.
That's the juice.
Got you.
That's the juice. There's no other juice. Like, people will tell you this, that.
Well,
You'll see these infomercials. You'll see these Instagram ads. Like, I'm gonna give you the top 5. But can I cuss?
Yeah. I mean,
that's
I cuss all the
bullshit.
time.
That's absolute fucking bullshit. How many hours a week do you put into your business efficiently? How many efficient hours do you put into your business?
And I think a lot of people don't understand is like I see you, like I'll come in the morning and then you'll be there till like you'll be there before like you'll be there before it opens, and then you'll be there after everybody's gone.
Yeah.
Like
and that's me. I mean, we're not even talking Rob, who's there like
exactly
3 hours before.
And Rob the crazy thing about Rob, and I think like people don't give him like the credit he deserves on this, is that like he can take he can look at like a 2000 like raw card lot and be like, all right, this is what it's worth, I'll give you this.
Yeah.
Like there's no like comping, it's just like boom.
And that's a skill from years and years of doing like card shows. You'll see guys like, you'll see Card Collector 2. You'll see all these guys that can go to a show and pull out a stack, and they already know what they want to be on it. The sticker price is $80. They know they want to be in at like $35, $40. Because they know it's worth $100 to $120. I mean, you're talking like Rob's built these buy lists for years where, any refractor from the year of 2020, he's a buyer at 10 cents. He can put a number any year, any parallel, any insert, and he can buy it on a bulk level.
Yeah. At scale.
So when you go into these bulk buys, you're like, I know I want to be at 10 cents here, 20 cents here, 50 cents here, and $1 here.
Yeah.
Get those into quick stacks. All of a sudden, that 2,000 card lot is now bought. So you have the trick of, number one, having to buy the lot, and then you have the trick of, number two, how to process the lot, which is a whole different animal. But Rob can do it very well. I can do it pretty well.
Yeah.
But that's for years of card show experience of going through dollar boxes and, getting a gauge of, is this dealer, what is this dealer's pricing like? Are his dollar cards actually $2 cards, or are his dollar cards actually 50-cent cards?
Yeah.
Because there's a big difference between a 25-cent card and a $1 card.
You mess up a couple dimes and
you mess up a couple dimes and your margins are in pain. Exactly.
So you brought up processing cards. You guys buy a lot of cards per day. Like how fast are you able to you buy something today? Like how fast is it, whether it's on your website, in the showcase? Like how fast is that?
So right now, the only bottleneck we have in the store is vintage. So if we buy something vintage, like that's not slabbed, it's going in its own section. It's going to take a little while because we have to first grade it.
Is that also because you feel like it's like a safer market, so like you have time to put it for
100%,
sale?
100%.
Okay.
It's a safer market, but you also have to have a pair of trained eyes where it's like, if we're putting something up on eBay and it's 1965 or it's anything, it doesn't really matter. And we're saying it's an EX condition or X mint condition. That gap, we have to be like in that gap of grading when we send it out, or we're going to get, hammered with returns, or people are just not going to buy from us anymore.
Gotcha.
So we have only 2 or 3 guys that look at all our vintage.
So basically you have somebody who works there look at the vintage card raw, and then when you put it up on eBay, it
goes up with a qualifier for the grade.
Got you.
Yep. And we barely grade any vintage. We try and get it all up, buy it now or make offer for the majority of our vintage. And that's really the base of the business is vintage, because the prices are consistent. You have guys that put sets together.
Yeah.
Vintage is really the best stuff.
I bought a 52 mantle at Dallas,
mm-hmm.
and it sold that same day.
Yep. It's shocking.
I was shook.
It's shocking.
And now I'm like, I love vintage.
Because you have 2 different buyers. You have...
Well, in the buyer pool in general of like who wanted it was like, I wasn't exposed to that, and it was just the most liquid thing I could ever think of.
Because there are investors, but there's also huge diehard collectors that have the full 52 set with all the high numbers and everything. They just need mantle. And then you have guys who I'm sure have 50 to 100 copies of a
just
mantle,
want more.
Just put away, and they just want more. It's really one of the safest investments in the hobby.
So, of course, like when you're buying though, you don't. I feel like maybe like 10% of the stuff you buy that comes in the door is vintage.
Yeah.
So like, talk to me like a little bit about the modern market right now, right? We're in this time period where maybe it wasn't how it was like 2 years ago, where we were just getting in base and silvers and flipping it and making an X, 2X, 3X.
Yep.
Like how like I go to shows and people are like selling me base like crazy. I'll take it in, but my margin point is like I'm not going to pay 90% on it. Maybe how it was like a year or two ago. So like I know like there's probably a lot of people coming into the shop like wanting to move their base in bulk and stuff like that. Like how do you like go about that of like intaking it, because you probably have like a lot already?
Here's the funny thing. We've actually been getting a lot less of like that stuff in recently.
Really? Do you think people kind of let it go already, or?
I think the people that wanted to let it go have let it go. And the really interesting thing is the prices on that stuff have dropped so far, and our percentages on that stuff have been so historically low.
Yeah.
From a 50 to a 60% for like a no name or non rookie.
Yeah.
That it's either people just don't want to sell the stuff at these prices anymore, or we're going to see some sort of slight uptick, because for the past year
it's gone down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a volume game, right? Like if more people buy it and come in and want to buy it, then of course that stuff's going to go up. But it's not like you can get like with those rare golden 101s, like 3 more people coming into that market and wanting that card. Increases the price dramatically. With base, like you need like a good flow of people coming in. Not saying it can't happen. I mean, it definitely could, but I mean, like it definitely takes like a decent amount of people.
And I'm seeing really interesting things with like the Kobe paper 96 rookie.
What does that go for now? Like 17, 1800?
As a 9, it's like 275. As a
10,
like
I think
a 10 is like 1,000 or less. I think a 10 is like 1,000 or less.
Remember the days when you'd buy this for like 100, 200?
Yeah.
Those were the days.
But I mean, we're seeing something where people are actually coming in and looking for those cards again.
Really?
I can't remember a time when.
Do you think it's because the price point got to a level now where people are want to buy back in?
I think the LeBron paper 9s and like the Kobe paper 9s are like a level where people are like, okay.
Well, we're actually doing a giveaway with a LeBron paper 9 today, and I was looking up.
Might not want to give that one away.
Well, we're giving it away. We're giving it away.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
But I mean, I can pull it right now.
You can pull it?
No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. Yeah. But like, I looked up like what it was worth. It's like a $700 card.
LeBron 9, yeah.
Paper 9.
Paper 9. Yeah. BGS 9s are like 6, and then PSA 9s are probably like 750, something like that.
Maybe I undervalued it.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I will say over the past like 6 months,
that's what
people weren't really looking for that stuff. And over the past like 2 or 3 weeks, people have been coming in, and whether it's investors or collectors are kind of looking for that stuff again, which is actually really interesting. And I have a lot of that stuff because I've been buying it, and it hasn't really been moving until like
recently,
the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Do you think about like when you're taking in a deal, do you think about, oh, I know the end consumer for this, or is it just more like, all right, I think I can make this percentage on it, like, or is it both? Like, how does that kind of work?
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about highly liquid, like vintage, like you said about the buyer pool for vintage.
Yeah.
I have a Rolodex of people that are like, I want a 55 Kovacs rookie, or I want a 52 Mantle, or, just like really popular sets. Like, oh, I want, a Clemente rookie.
Yeah.
And if you get one in any grade, just call me and I'll pay you fair market for it. So I do have
So you keep that in the back of your brain, kind of.
I have a spreadsheet.
Okay, so there you go. Even better.
For buyers for vintage, and I get a lot of stuff in.
Yeah.
And, it's unfair that sometimes stuff goes out to buyer. No, that goes out to buyers and doesn't hit the showcase.
Yeah.
But at the same time, these are people that are like, I might have had a guy like 6 months ago tell me he wants like a Koufax and a PSA 6, and if I get one, just to move it to him. So like in that regards, yes. But in the regards of like modern stuff, not really. We just kind of know where the market is on it, what we can pay on it.
Yeah.
And then really everything goes through our normal channels, buy, new arrival showcase, and then hits both BurbankCards.com and eBay at the same time.
Gotcha.
And that's been the model that we've been following the past year or so. And anything liquid moves very quickly. It's just about who's the first guy to get in on it, or if someone sees it before it goes live, or Rob's doing a video and there's a card in the background in the showcase that someone somehow sees and they reach out to me and they want it. So we have all these different channels, and I'll hold stuff if people want, but like if someone comes to me and there's like, hey, I'm looking for like a gold LeBron Chrome from like any year, if you get one, let me know. I can't really do that because like, when am I going to get it? Like, is this guy really going to have dibs on like the only gold LeBron I'm going to get for the, like, they don't come in that often.
I agree.
Whereas when you're talking with like vintage key rookies, like they come in, you know, regularly enough where I can have like a list of people that would want them and then put the next one in the case.
So when the card market like kind of like took off, I guess like a little bit before COVID, it was starting to pick up. But then when COVID hit, it seemed like it went like crazy, right?
Yeah, dude.
Like, did you guys not expect, but did you guys see maybe some signs that, oh, like this market's like going up? No, not at all.
Not at all. And this kind of speaks again to Rob's level of like hobby knowledge.
Yeah.
That we were built for that. Like,
you were set up for success.
That was like the best thing. Like, obviously on like a global scale, things sucked like badly. And even on like a warehouse scale, like we've told this story before, but we were at stay-at-home orders, but our site and our eBay were just like so off the charts that we had to come in, you know, 3 or 4 people a day and just pull orders for like 10, 11 hours a day. Our sites were off the chain. And actually, they're pretty close to the levels that they are right now. But right now, we have a 20.
But like that boom from like what it was like a month prior was probably insane, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you're talking 3, 4x, 5x.
It's funny that you bring up that like how Rob built the business, the structure to be able to set you guys up for success for that boom.
Yeah,
because that brings me right to my mind of like I know shops that have the same opportunity basically as like what you had and whatever, and like now like some of them are going out of like business. Like in reality,
see, that's what's scary. But I always come back to that thing that I tell you about hours, right?
Yep.
Like we're there every day. Rob's there most Sundays.
I think the thing is like they are there every day, but they're not really doing anything.
And that's again why I told you efficient hours.
Yeah.
Right. Efficient hours are so important.
What do you do to like be efficient while you're at the workplace? And I feel like a lot of people struggle with that. Like especially like somebody's like going into their job or whatever, they go in and because they're there, they think they're working, but it's not really like effective. Yeah. So like, how does that work for you? Like what are some tips you can give us?
Yeah. So, I mean, really the most important thing that I've done recently where like, you know, we have people come in and everyone starts to get on a list. At that point, we as buyers, we're on a clock. So I get as much done as I can before we open. But once someone puts their name down, how long can they really expect to wait to sell you something? So I really have to structure my time and do things as efficiently as I can, because if you come in to sell me something really cool, and you're waiting 45 minutes, you might just leave.
Yeah, 100%.
So
time management.
Time management is huge, and the biggest thing that I've done is emails, right? Whereas I might have checked them 5 or 10 times a day, I've cut that in half, maybe 2 or 3 times a day. So I'm checking my emails less, but when I do it, I knock everything out.
So you're more effective when you're checked. What about Instagram? How do you work Instagram?
I got to stay off my phone.
Got you.
I have to.
Do you check DMs on Instagram? Like
I would check once or twice a day.
Oh wow!
And I'm the only one that checks them, but I would check once or twice a day. And that's usually before we open and after we open, because you really have to make a choice, right? Yeah. Are you going to? And in the perfect world, I have someone hired that can just look at DMs through the day and ask me about it. But you have to make a choice. I mean, are you there for the people that are walking into your store right now, or are you there for the people that, you know, maybe haven't even left their bedroom but just sent you a DM?
Got you.
Which might be important.
Yeah.
So you do have to check it.
Yeah.
But does it have to be checked that instant? And again, that's why we talk about like efficient hours. Can I get the seller who came in 5 minutes, work his deal? And then, you know, there's going to be a finite amount of sellers that come in throughout the day. There's not going to be more because we were quicker.
Yeah,
we might have a byproduct of more sellers because, hey, Burbank is much quicker now than they were a month ago. Okay, let's go sell. That might be like a thing that happens like down the line.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to, like, on a Tuesday, like today, I'm never going to get all the buyers through, or the sellers, sorry.
Yeah.
And like, they're going to call their friends and be like, hey, come down to Burbank. Like, there's nobody on the list. That doesn't really happen.
No.
So if I can get that knocked out quicker, focus my time on that, and then there's nobody on the list, I go back and I'll go look at my Instagram DMs. I can definitely do that.
So So what about like do you do anything like on, I guess, your days off? Like, I think you only have one day off per week, which is Sundays.
Yeah.
Like, is it just like, I do nothing card related? Like, how, like, bring me through what your days off are like, because I honestly, like, maybe the people don't want to know, but I want to know what your days off are like.
Listen, there's a huge problem going around this hobby. Huge problem, gigantic problem. People, the PWCC. This is a message for PWCC.
Shout out Brock at PWCC.
Shout out Brock. This is a message for every auction house that closes auctions on Sunday night. I hate you.
Yeah.
Because you've turned my day off into me at 6 o'clock.
Yes.
I'm just from 6 to whatever.
I was supposed to work some stuff with this pod yesterday, like get some stuff done, and I was bidding on auctions.
Yeah. I mean,
pure pain.
It's every week now. I mean, you can end auctions on Sunday, but just give me some time off. It's a full-time gig. So
basically,
now.
Sunday, half your day, you're
half my day. I'm on PWCC or Golden or whatever Heritage, whatever auction house I'm on, and I'm just buying cool stuff. And I'm just targeting stuff that doesn't really come through the store. So, like, last night I bought 2 boxes of 2017-18 National Treasures first off the line. So basketball. So I like to buy wax. That's tough to find wax on auction houses. On Golden, I bought a few cases of just assorted product.
And I've brought up like in content, I'm like, over the last couple months, auction houses have had the best opportunity for like an ROI of like getting deals.
Mm-hmm.
But like people are like, no, there's like no way. Like, but it's like, it's weird because it seems like there's so much stuff flooding auction houses where there actually is deals now. And it's nice to hear from like you that like, as like a shop as like pristine as yours, that you're actually going to auction houses too to buy stuff.
Just look at the margins, right?
Yeah.
Look at the just from like a purely perspective.
I could sit right here in my house, not have to go to a show, deal with like, oh, I'm into this card too high. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I could just be like, I'm gonna put my bids in, blah blah blah. And I know like if I'm spending like the more money, like theoretically, the more money I spend, the more profit margin I get.
If you're buying the right things.
If you're buying the right things. Yeah. But like to me, like, and I love going to shows, don't get me wrong. Like I love it. I love the action. I love like the person to person.
There's not many deals these days.
It's not as much.
Especially in this area.
Yeah.
Yep.
And for me to sit at an auction house, not have to drive like how you drove down the 5 to go up, whatever, like it makes sense. Like it's simple. Like when you bring up time management, it's a perfect, like if I grind out this auction, I know the comps on all these cards, like in my brain, I lock it in, I do my research, like I can make major plays.
Literally, I do what you do. I'll go through, I'll put bids on 100 different items. I'll star maybe 10 that I have to have. And if I don't hit on those ones, the 10 that I have to have, maybe I'll pay a little bit more, but there's guaranteed returns, especially if you're buying things in lots. Like if you're buying a 10 card lot, there's tons of lots out there that are like 86 Fleer with a Jordan rookie. Top 5 cards are graded and the rest are ungraded. Tons of opportunity there because it's like, what's that really valued at?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people will come in at like, well, it has to be valued here. And I know I'm going to make a lot of money here. But each rung you get higher over that, you're going to drop bidders.
Yeah.
And you just have to kind of be comfortable going a little bit more than maybe you think it's worth.
Yeah.
And then grinding out and kind of breaking it up a little bit.
And that's where it comes with like the rarity cards. Like if you know that market really well, like you can crush. Yeah. Because a lot of people will look at the comps and be like, well, the last comp was 5,000. But if you know, like, well, like
go buy one.
Yeah, and the factor of like, well, like if you know that set or card really well, you can be like, well, that one went for that much because there was a wrinkle on the whatever, like it is, or the coloring or whatever. Like if you really like study and like know, like that's where like I feel like, especially with you guys, like you get that separation of like day in and day out. You're doing that, like the margins increase, the businesses, the business grows, right?
And comps are super important. Comps are very important for certain cards.
Yep. Base silvers, that stuff, very like it's comps or comps.
There's a point where I have to respect a comp when I'm selling cards, but there's also a point where I have to throw all comps out the windows for other cards.
Yeah.
So like I was saying about the Kobe's and about the LeBrons, so many of those copies sell every day. We know there's an established market for that. I can't tell you that mine is worth more than somebody else's.
Yeah.
On any given day. 3 sold on eBay for $400. The lowest available is $450. I have mine priced at $460 or $475.
The market tells you the price.
The market tells me the price on that.
Yeah.
If someone wants to come in and buy one, for whatever it is, $425, oh well, on eBay you're paying all of that is BS.
Yeah.
On that card's a commodity. There's a comp on it. That's what the card's worth. That's it. You can go basically anywhere and go buy one. On some of these cards that are ending on these auction houses, the comps might not be as important because the cards only sell once every 3 months or once every 4 months. And as long as you think that there's someone out there that wants the card, he has to want the card and he has to be willing to pay for the card.
Yeah.
So you got to jump over two barriers, and we both know that.
Yeah.
We both know that.
There's a difference between wanting a card and paying for it.
Because you have to really hit the nail on the head with a buy to get someone to pay for it. You're asking someone to open their wallet and pay. Most likely they're going to see what you paid for it too.
Yep.
If it's on an auction house.
Yep.
So how do you get a buyer to pay more for something that you just bought and there are comps on it?
Yeah. And I think like one of the things I've thought about a lot of times is like, if you buy kind of like in that sort of stuff, the base silver is different. But if you buy that sort of stuff, like I really like vintage Pele or vintage Ollie stuff.
Sure.
So like when I go to sell it, I can tell you like everything about like the card, and because I enjoy it, like I like it, I'm like, this is why it's good, like whatever. Like do you think about that like sort of like, oh, like I can sell this card, like I know this card so well that like I can tell you, like, do you think like that helps like of being able to like tell the consumer like literally everything about that?
There's huge benefits to being like a master and like a certain asset. Like there's guys that only do mega cracks Messi's.
Yep.
There's guys that only do Brady contenders.
Yep.
And
you've had a couple Brady contenders in your day.
I have, but I'm not an expert on it. That's the thing. I'm not an expert on it.
But the more it seems like every time, like the first one you got was with I want to say Rizzo, right? Or was there one before?
The first one I bought, I moved to Rizzo in a trade, so it was 1 for 30.
So it seems like every time you get one though, like your buyer pool like opens up more, right? Like
huge buyer pool for that kind of card. But you also have to keep in mind there's factors on cards like that when they go out for auction, the high bidder knows, like usually the high bidder on those kind of cards is like very aware, like on a BGS 910 Brady Contenders auto.
Yeah.
The guy that's buying that card for 110 grand or 115 grand knows that the auto in that copy is like pristine, and like you don't see autos like that. Or the corners on the card are like way better than you would normally see. They're masters, and the guys that are paying record prices for things. A lot of people think that these buyers don't know what they're doing. A lot of these guys know what they're doing.
Yep, I agree with that. Mm-hmm. Bringing up Brady, is it like, what's the word on him coming back? Like I know Rob's a huge Brady fan.
Yeah,
you're a big Brady
patch shirt right now.
What like, is it official like that he's coming back?
You know what the weirdest thing is? When he retired, we were like, okay, Brady prices are going up because he retired.
Yeah. But
we're like,
it stayed Brady, though, right? Like it didn't.
His prices went up for like a week,
and then
they stabilized, or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Now we're like, Brady's coming back. His prices are going up.
Yeah, it's like weird. But that's how it always is, right? People are like, well, when he wins the championship, his stuff's gonna go up, but it goes up like the month or two before, and then it just flattens.
Here's my thing: the more likes something gets on Twitter, or the more retweets something gets, the more price action we're gonna see. So like Brady coming back from retirement at 250, it's just excitement.
Yeah, I agree.
You can never really you can't say his prices are going up because his prices are going up. Anyone's prices in the market are going up because people are talking about them.
I agree with that.
That's it.
It's all about attention.
It's all about attention.
So how do you feel about his stuff now then? Do you think it's a buy because he's coming back?
I think now you have a locked in period of from now to when the season starts of people are just going to want Brady.
Got you.
So there's a whole like very safe window of what we're in March right now.
Yep.
You have a 4-month period where you can buy Brady and you'll never get cooked on it.
And you just flip.
You can flip it. Exactly. And then obviously when the season starts and if they lose a couple games or whatever, at that point you'll start to see fluctuations in price. But that's the beautiful thing about football. because we have the National at the end of July, I believe.
Yep. And then what? Wait! I forgot about this. What do we have after the National, right?
Oh.
What do we have after the National?
See,
I'm letting you use this platform right here to tell me what we have after the National.
After the National, this is actually no joke. This is actually like big time, like historical big time.
No, I know.
This is the real deal. So
tell the people.
This is card shows returning to the West Coast. This is us playing tug of war with the East Coast. West Coasters want their shows. They're big shows.
100%.
And we've seen success with like San Francisco. We've seen success with Northern California.
Yep.
It's time to take the piece of the pie back to SoCal. Burbank Card Show, end of August. Look up Burbank Card Show on Instagram for the exact dates. I believe it's the 26th, 27th, 28th.
And how many tables are going to be?
200 to 300 tables to start. We'll assess after the show if we need more tables or anything like that, but it's going to be a big show in the heart of Southern California, about 5 minutes from the Burbank Airport at the Marriott.
Yeah, you can literally walk from the Burbank Airport.
Fly into Burbank, go get a hotel room at the Marriott.
You stayed at that Marriott before.
It's a nice Marriott. Nice establishment.
The convention center is huge.
Yeah.
See, I'm promoting this for you, bro. You got there.
100%.
Go. There's like 2 restaurants in the place.
Yeah, it's a really nice area, and it's gonna be well worth it for anyone that wants to come out.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be
We've
very
already
good.
Basically got the whole thing booked.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Vendor wise,
right?
We're gonna make sure that if you're a SoCal guy and you really want a table, we're gonna try and make sure everyone's taken care of. Obviously, a lot of people are flying in from the East Coast and stuff like that, and we're trying to make sure it staggers with the Dallas show. Obviously, we're trying to make sure it staggers with any other bigger shows.
Yeah.
But this is what SoCal deserves. A big show.
We've had a lot of 50 table shows, maybe 100 tables shows, but
all these promoters are doing a very good job.
Yeah, 100%.
All you guys are doing all these guys are doing a very good job.
But I think it was very needed of having that big show in SoCal, a 2-3 day big show. I think it was needed, and I'm really glad that it's happening in Burbank. I'm really stoked on it.
We just want to give people a reason to fly in and shake it up a little bit.
Yep.
And it's gonna get shaken up big time.
Maybe we have to do one of these pod episodes at the show.
Yeah. It's gonna be cracking at the show, big time. It's gonna be cracking. It's gonna be very nice.
There's gonna be trade nights too.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited.
Oh yeah.
I wanna get a couple quick feedback topics on some sports products, stuff like that. So I'm just gonna fire through real quick.
Sure.
Soccer market, how do you feel?
Soccer market's great. Again, like that football thing I was telling you about.
Yeah.
We have the biggest soccer event in the world coming up very soon, the World Cup. So soccer singles, soccer product is all, stable.
Gotcha.
Everything's, selling very well. Messi rookies are selling well. Mbappe stuff selling well. Product is selling very well. Soccer product is very sneaky.
My whole thing is and people when I go to shows, they're oh, what are you buying? And I'm literally F1, UFC, and soccer.
Yeah. Yep.
And people are well, those are all kind of newer-ish stuff. And I'm yeah, but it sells all day.
You got to kind of know your stuff when you're doing that stuff. But it provides more returns for people that really know what they're doing in those fields.
I agree.
Yep. So the soccer market is great.
It's like the F1 case you bought from me.
The F1 market is
steaming.
The F1 market I would compare to the NFT market.
Yeah, I mean
it's very different, and it's very hot, and
I agree.
Comps come out of thin air.
I agree.
But we don't know these buyers. Who is buying the Hamilton?
I agree and disagree. I agree because it's growing, it's going crazy, it's fast, but sure. I know a few of the F1 whales.
Sure.
And they when I know whales in basketball and they basketball.
Mm-hmm.
F1 whales, love F1, bro.
I think what we have to kind of put on the table here is we aren't fans of the sport, or we are fans of the sport now, but we weren't before.
Yeah, we weren't.
Imagine if you were a fan of the sport for years, and all of a sudden the premier product comes out, and you just got to jump into it and get the best stuff. 20 years from now,
and most people that are fans of F1 are predominantly wealthy.
Sure.
So if they if those fans, 10% of them, let's say, came into cards, That's a big difference.
Yeah, and I like to equate this with like the guy that brings, he's got 5 Kobe refractors from '96, and he's got 5 LeBron refractors. He's got a black refractor. He's got all this crazy stuff. He's got a gold refractor from '03 LeBron, and it's just like, dude, like how much like you've been buying all this stuff recently? He's like, no, I'm fan of basketball. Loved seeing LeBron come out. Ripped a ton of Topps Chrome. True. This is all stuff that I pulled back in the day.
True.
And I maybe he didn't even grade it yet.
Yeah.
But you can kind of put that together with F1, where it's just like, what if this is the time where you have to get in to F1, even if it doesn't pop in the next 5 or 10 years? That dude with the Hamilton Red Sapphire BGS 8.5 in 20 years might be like maybe one of the smartest collectors that's collecting right now. So we have to take that into account, because whenever someone brings me in like a collection like that, and I'm like, my first thing that goes through my head is, okay, this guy bought this really recently and he might be in like a crazy amount of money. But then they start telling you these stories. They were going to their hobby shops in 03, or they were going to their hobby shops in 09.
Yeah.
Topps Chrome, they're ripping Topps boxes, and they just have 10 Curry Chromes and they have 5 Curry refractors. And these guys were just doing it for the love of the game. They put it in their shoebox. Obviously, now if you're ripping F1, you're not putting anything in the shoebox. But it's a different time now. Yeah.
But F1 product was also like very limited.
It was very limited. So you got to like your Sapphire case. You might be the smartest person in the world if you just never sell that case.
I when you brought up the red like hammy,
I saw one on Instagram this morning.
BGS 9 or something like that. But I had a purple Sapphire BGS 9.
That's pain.
Pure pain.
What'd you do?
It was with Lou. I don't know if you saw that video National. We went and bought it. Got it at 24K. Felt great about it. I actually offered it to you.
You did offer it to me.
And you're like, F1, like whatever. This is before you got into F1.
Now I'm in pain.
And Dennis, too legit to quit, like called me one day. He was like, yo, I know this I'm at a Dodger game and this guy's here and he actually collects F1, whatever. He wants the card.
Yeah.
And basically, like, I was like, yeah, I mean, I'll move it. Like, we moved it for like 35, basically.
Sure, you made good money on it.
Felt great, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's literally like a 6-figure card right now.
100%.
Pure pain.
100%. And a lot of that stuff happened at the National too, where things were selling.
Brady's were selling then.
Brady's were selling cheap.
Curry refractors.
Curry refractors were selling cheap.
And that's the thing that annoys me the most is like people are like, oh, there's no more there's no more opportunity in the market. I'm like, bro, like if you think there's no more opportunity in the market, then you're just being like super lazy.
Maybe this isn't the market for you.
Yeah, because like 2 years ago, 100%, it was so easy. Like anybody could have made money.
Yep.
Like literally anybody.
Yep.
Now it's like, all right, like you have to actually know what you're doing,
right?
Or else you'll lose real money.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's only like so many times where you can like lose real money
and still want to be part of the game.
And until you're like, all right, like I'm you know what I mean? I'm gonna go this way real quick. You know what I mean?
We saw it. I see guys that were buying in 2020 and I haven't seen them anymore.
You see a lot of guys that when you roll into Burbank, you're like, oh, this person's not here anymore. Like, oh no, we haven't seen them in like what, you know what I mean?
It happens. It's kind of like how many blows can you take to the head,
100%.
right? And I mean, we're the same way.
Yep.
In business, we bought a lot that maybe we didn't do great on.
Yep.
We bought a lot that we did great on.
But the thing is like you buy a lot that you didn't like it is what it is. Like it's the business of it. But then you buy shit like for me, like I'll lose on shit. Like it just happens in business. Mm-hmm. But it's like that doesn't stop me from keeping on like buying, because the only way I can make money is by continuing to buy.
Yep.
It's weird to think about, but it's like I used to go, like when I first started, I used to go to shows and I'm like, all right, like I can only spend like this much at a show. Mm-hmm. Now in my head, when I go into a show, I'm like, all right, the more money I spend, the more money I'm gonna make. Yeah. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm like, all right, I spent like 20K at a show today.
Yep.
All right, I think I'm probably gonna be able to net 26 out, like 100%. Whatever it is, like that mind shift, I think is like what honestly like helped me like throughout like my process.
Super important. You got to break through barriers, and like you got to break through these barriers.
And it's scary to think about though, like too when you're starting.
I used to have this barrier where I was like, I can't go under this amount in our business account.
Yeah.
Or I can't have our credit card hit these points. I used to recent as of like even last year, I was like, I have to have a cushion or I have to do this or that. And as I look through the books, it just turns out that
it works out.
The more you
and that's the biggest thing about cash flow.
Yeah. Having the cash flow is important.
I agree.
But at the same time, you have to spend it to get it back in.
I agree.
You can't really.
But I think that's like the risks, like that, not risk, but like it's the work that like Burbank, your dad, your grandpa put in to be able to like get to that point. Like I've had points where it's like, oh shit, I only have like this much in my business account.
Yeah.
And like nobody like people like can go on Instagram and like see like the cards you have, but nobody really like can be in your shoes and like you know what I mean? Like it's tough to really be like in like the shoes of like, all right, like people think like, oh yeah, you can just spend whatever and you're chilling, you post it and it's cool. It's not like that. Like you're like there's like points where it's really, really tough and there's points where it's amazing too, but like you have to take both together to get both.
I'm sure you've gotten a lot better at this, but you know, you on one end you have if there's deals and you have to buy it, you have to spend the money
100%.
But on the other hand, cash flow and liquidity is everything. So liquidity is very important, but at the same time you got to be able to buy. So we make smarter buys. Right. And we make, both of us, if there's something that just doesn't make sense, you pass on it.
And I feel like I used to want to buy, like if there was a big card, I'd be like, damn, it's not like I'm not going to get it again, so I had to buy it. Where now I'm like, nah, like I can find something.
You can pass on it. And the hobby's gotten a lot more educated. To where, and it works against both of us sometimes when we go to sell things. But people value things very, 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 very people value things a lot better than they used to. Because of the inventions like what Card Ladder's doing and what Alt's doing and what all these guys are doing. It's really easy to see what things are worth. And it's not about like pulling like a blanket over people's heads and like telling them this is $1,000 card. I mean, you could always check eBay and you could always do these other things, but if you're trying to find a card that hasn't sold in the past year, as recently as a year ago or even like 9 months ago, it was tough. Now things are a lot easier to figure out like what things are worth.
Well, the market is matured right now. We have those things like you talked about, Card Ladder, all those things where we can actually look up and see what it's worth and all. Like, how do you feel about the market like currently right now? Like for me, like I like it how it's kind of like more like stabilized because it's like you're not like jittery like all the time. I guess you know what I mean.
The market right now is very, very interesting because I play two different markets at the same time. I play the wax market and I play the singles market. And the wax market is tough because wax is still insanely hot. So I mean, if you're talking like you're
basically paying like 90, like you're paying strong.
You're paying 80 to 90 points on wax, and if you can get more than one market is great, but a lot of the times, you're buying things for $700-800 to sell it for $1,000. And that's fine. Wax is safe, but at the same time, getting really cool wax is difficult. If I want to buy Prism from 2020, it's hard. If I want to buy National Treasures basketball, it's hard. If I want to on the secondary market, I'm willing to pay up. And if I go out and say I will pay market price for a new product that just released, it's tough. It's tough to get. So I think that's good for the market. That wax is tough to get. If it was easier to get, I'd maybe be a little bit scared. But it's tough to get. I think the wax market is doing very well. And as far as the singles market goes, I think things are very, very stable. Prices, like you said, are pretty flatline. But at the same time, we're seeing things that are rare establishing crazy values. So we're seeing things like the Jordan logo man that just sold on Golden recently, and we're seeing things like I was reading something today in one of my emails about these guys that are in the NBA top 75 list that people were like, oh, I didn't think that people listed them that high. Well, now these guys are actually getting some recognition. Their major cards that are actually low pop sometimes are going for like 6-7x what they were going for like a year ago at the height of the market. The prices are 6xing from where they were at the height of the market because people are putting them in their top 20 list or top 30 list. Like I think I was reading about a Moses Malone rookie, 1975 PSA 10. I'm not sure what the pop is off the top of my head, but I think 2 copies just sold for around 70 to 80 grand.
Well, and also the thing is like you have like, let's for example, like a Manu Ginobili or like something like that. It's like when you look at like LeBron, Jordan, whatever prices, you're like, oh, Manu's only this much, like, damn, I mean, that's a cool buy. Like
the buyer pool is maybe 5% though.
Yeah,
that's
true.
That's the tough part.
Yeah, that
but
makes sense.
At the same time, you have to find these Ginobili guys that are like, I'm a Ginobili super collector, but a lot of those guys already have the cards that you're trying to sell.
Yeah.
So at that point, your buyer pool is so much more limited versus a LeBron, which there's a reason LeBron stuff's way more expensive than Ginobili.
Yeah.
Or Tony Parker, or like any of those guys. It's like, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
We know these guys are legends.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the buyer pool is just like decimals.
It's tough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What I want to ask you 2 more questions before we move into the giveaway.
Sure.
What is your kind of like goals for the business, like of Burbank, like for like the next like 5 to 10 years? And then my follow-up question would be, what are your kind of like personal goals for the future?
Yeah. So business goals. Number one, I really want to make it easier for people to buy cards from us online. So right now it's pretty easy. We have 2 different sites. We have the Beckett Marketplace, where we sell $50 and under, just kind of set fillers, stuff like that. And then we have burbankcards.com, which you can use to buy like graded stuff and kind of see all the new stuff we picked up recently. My number one goal is kind of streamline how people find us. So like if you go to burbankcards.com right now, it's pretty easy. You can search around. It's fine.
Yeah.
But having that kind of bedrock of, this is where I live and all my things are attached to this, and you can do everything through here. It's very simple, whatever it is, loyalty rewards, all these other things that we're working on. That's my main goal kind of going forward, is just making it easier for buyers to buy things that they want. And that's included, and pricing's included in that, making things more streamlined price wise, whether that's using technology, not having to hand price things, or for commodities. That's high up on my list for the business. So just making it a better online experience.
Do you want to open up another shop, like a retail shop?
No, definitely not.
Hardcore no.
Big no.
Got you.
Big no. Rob wants to do something, which I'm pretty against, but he wants to use our old location to kind of facilitate a $1 box, quarter box, 50-cent box kind of like ecosystem. He would get out the fishbowl and just kind of put everything into that own place where we would staff 2 or 3 people.
Got you.
And you could kind of go in and spend hours and just look through stuff. I don't know how I feel about that yet. We got to discuss that a little bit more, take some more feedback in from that end. But
so basically
no Burbank 2.
No Burbank 2.
There's no Burbank 2.
Nothing.
No.
Oh, it's interesting.
I
feel like people would think that there would be.
The easy part is selling stuff in the store, which I feel like we have no bottlenecks for selling things. Like people can come in and I have enough staff to help them in the showcases or buy whatever they want. The main thing that's difficult is staffing buyers. Like today, my main buyer called out sick. He was not feeling well, and I had this scheduled with you. And it's just like, if you walk into our store today, like Rob might be able to help you, but chances are he's going to tell you to come back tomorrow.
Got you.
So
you turned down a seller.
I turned down a ton of cards
to hang out with me,
to be here.
I love it.
But it's worth it.
It's worth it. 100%.
Way worth
marketing.
it. I'm driving 4 hours today. No, it's not even marketing, man. It's just my pal Sash.
I told him a couple of weeks ago. I was like, bro, I'm starting a pod. Like, what's the word?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, come on.
100%.
And we got it done.
100%. We got it done.
Okay. Personal goals. I guess before you go into that, do you want to get to a point where you don't have to be at the shop 24/7? Because I've seen you do this grind for the last couple of years now. I assume you're probably still going to do it for at least the next year. But do you want to get to a point where maybe you can focus on growing other parts of the business while somebody else is like the one day to day, like buying, you know what I mean?
Yes. Sorry.
No worries. Dude.
But I'm all about, like you can get to a point where like you can kill yourself by trying to be too efficient.
Yeah.
But I'm at a point where it's just like, to be completely honest with you, in 2020 when I started, I was like 165 and I was like running marathons and stuff like that. Yeah,
you're in really good shape. You showed me
right
pictures.
Now I'm like,
you're
out of shape.
Yeah,
big time.
I feel like people don't realize with the card life, bro, it's not good. A lot of fast food. A lot of just sitting like on the computer, like checking comms, like shipping.
I'm like 30 over where I was in 2020.
Yeah.
And I think the only really way that I I mean, obviously I could go after work and go to the gym or go do whatever.
It's tough. I get it.
It's not even that. It's just eating, right?
Yeah.
So that's like a personal goal for me is like,
get in shape,
health-wise. Get better food in us. Like every day for us, we just get
fast food,
Chick-fil-A and pizza.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's grind, but that's what's easy. So we got to make harder. We got to make
efficient.
Harder choices.
It's efficient to eat. That's why they call it fast food.
We got to make efficient. We got to make more efficient choices on the food we bring in, and maybe taking an hour out of the end of the day for me to go to the gym.
It's so tough to do that.
But I always want to be at the shop.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah,
because the same people come in every day, and
it's like, do you want to? And I feel like that's just a big struggle for a lot of business owners and like people who are in business. It's like you're so like in the zone of like the business where
Absolutely.
like you leave a lot of personal side, like working out, like that sort of stuff kind of just is back burner.
I mean, I'm 26.
Yeah.
I'm turning 27 in May, and I've wanted to move out since I was 21, 22.
Yeah.
But it just didn't work out. I was going to get to a point in March where I was going to move out.
Yep.
I had like really good relationships going.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of people's relationships got killed by COVID, but I feel like for card people, it's kind of been like an extended period of time where like we've all been like working our asses off for the past 2 years.
100%.
And there's got to be a point where, if you're a dealer out there or you're a you set up at shows often, that everyone's got to kind of like step back. If you haven't already, step back for a second and like evaluate where you are like mentally.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Because it's a grind, and a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of people out there that even though the market's great, a lot of people aren't in great mental state.
That's a really, really good point you brought up. I 100% agree with that because I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've saw a situation where somebody sold a card to somebody else and they've way undervalued what that card was worth.
Yeah.
And when they figured out what that card was worth, they just like mentally they just
a lot of people are just bottled up.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
you brought up a very, very solid point of like, especially now where like kind of COVID's behind us and maybe the grind isn't as like strong as like definitely want to like make sure like, hey, look, like, yeah, maybe the business is good, but are like you doing good?
Are you good?
Yeah, are you good?
Because your business is only as good as, if something happens to
you have to be mentally straight, bro. Because if you're buying 20K a day, 30K a day, 50K a day, like if you're mentally off, like you're not going to make good decisions.
If you're 10% off or 15% off, I mean, it hurts the bottom line. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but I mean, we're not talking money here anymore. I mean, you're talking, your health,
your life,
your well-being,
and your happiness in your life. 100%.
So that's a goal for me. I haven't implemented anything I'm talking about yet, but that's a goal.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
Anything like, do you want to start like different businesses when you're maybe like a little bit like older? Like, is there anything like that like you have anything that you want to do? I know you're a huge gamer.
Yeah, big time.
Like you're like good too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sheesh,
FPS, stuff like that. I mean, I play basically everything, but I played so much in high school that like it was bad, like how much I was playing in high school. Like,
but I mean,
like real bad.
I mean, like now there's like gamers making a shit ton of money though.
Tons of money. Could have been me.
Could have been you,
no,
bro.
I just do cards. Damn.
But anything like do you want to like open up like any like another business, like anything like that?
I think down the line maybe, but I think it's foolish to like. We're in like a really good track right now.
Yeah.
That I think
you're locked in.
Me doing something else that I'm not like there's this principle that you got to do something for X amount of hours to be like really good at it. I think
it's
that
like 3,000 hours, something like that.
10,000, I think.
10,000.
I've got into that kind of like state where we're so good at what we do that putting resources or money into things that aren't like extremely undervalued is like not what I want to be doing.
Got you. So
unless someone came to me that I trusted like immensely,
yeah,
that had something that I didn't even have to like put hands on.
And that's the biggest thing too is trust in business is like
huge.
It's huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if someone came to me and they're like, I have this really good proposition and I listened, like I'm actually working with someone. We're actually working with someone. I can't announce it yet.
Yeah.
but I'm working with someone that I trust that does a lot of business with me, and they want to put together a repack product. And
that makes sense.
Hands off business for me.
You don't have to
I
deal with
just
it.
help supply them.
You're a funder.
This is kind of the first venture that we've gone into that hasn't had to do with Burbank Sports Cards. I'm kind of helping someone put something else together, and if it turns out and it does great, then great. And if it doesn't, then that's fine. You know, I've made the evaluation that I think it's safe, and I think that it's something that is going to benefit my business.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to go with it. And if I get burned by it, then I learn from it.
I feel that. I feel like I've been burned enough to like where like I'm like I only trust like these people, and that's it.
You haven't. That's
you don't think I have?
You think you've been burned as many times as you can be burned, but you haven't. You really haven't. You haven't. But it's just about.
You know, some of the guys have been burned by though.
Yeah, I do.
It's rough for real.
That's not good.
And it never will see the day of light.
Never gonna see the day of light or the light of day.
Or the light of day.
But it's all about the next time taking what you've learned.
Oh no, I do that every time.
And being burned less, because there's always going to be another opportunity down the road where you're going to get hit.
I agree.
But it's about using your prior experiences.
Is there any like tips you have as like a business owner yourself of like when it comes to trust in business? Like,
I mean,
it's tough, right?
I'm grateful that I work with 3 family members
and that's the thing too. Yeah,
we fight all day,
but
we fight about things that are just not important at all. We fight about the stupidest shit.
But like I guess that's one of the, when I brought up what are the benefits, and like you know, that's one of the benefits. It's like it's a family business. Like it's very tight knit. Like you don't have to bring in like an outside somebody to come in and be a
mediator.
Like it's very like
nope. And you know what the best thing is? We don't talk about money.
That's amazing.
We don't talk about money.
Money's always the biggest.
We look at the books at the end of the year, but for the 11 or months that is not tax season, we don't talk about money.
Yeah,
we're focused on cards. Yeah, so
that's the best way.
And we all know what our job is. We all know what our role is. Everyone knows what they're supposed to do. We don't have to talk about what we're doing. We just go in and do it.
Yeah,
and we get it done. Perfect. And you know, we argue about really like menial things that I think it's healthy. Again, to like butt heads, like you were talking about.
I've seen some of the like butt heads, and you're right. It's very like
it's been bad. I mean, you can ask John.
No, I know, but it's like very like people would expect it's like major like issue, like an issue, but it's very like like not that important.
We're both
almost
really
you know what I mean?
Stuck in our ways.
Yes, but that's what makes you guys so successful. I feel like, right?
Yeah, and you could kind of say like, if I didn't do what I did by telling Rob, hey, I need 2 showcases.
Yeah.
Like we wouldn't have this new.
Well, Burbank. That friction then of like whatever it was, a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was worth it. It was
made it way worth it.
It was worth it.
Yeah,
it was worth it. So, again, it's about knowing what we're good at. I'm never gonna fight him on something that I know he's like the man at, which I'll never. I hope.
Yeah, you're never gonna be like, oh, maybe we should switch up how we do like the
absolutely
raw
not
stuff in the
because we have those hours dumped into what we're good at.
Yeah, he knows that. Yeah,
and then the last thing on like that regard is just like, if you're a business owner, you can't really hire. There's no college for like cards.
No.
So you and then how do you trust someone coming in off the streets like the Shias of the world, or like the first off the line Johns of the world?
Yes.
And like the Colemans of the world.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get so lucky to where like you bring these people in that can like work for you, or not even work for you, but just like help you, or go to shows for you.
You have to be
I can
lucky.
give them 20,000 cash and they can come back and buy stuff for me.
Yep.
How do you do that? It's so hard.
It's not like a blueprint of something you could say like to do. It's just like it happens.
Right.
It just happens.
Yeah. You just gotta like have people that are operators.
Yep.
That can kind of.
And the beauty of that, like when you bring up like the Shies, the Colemans, the first off the line John,
the Rays
like,
of the world.
The Rays.
Yeah.
Ray's been killing it.
Ray, I love Ray.
Those guys that you have now and like that I can call friends, like it's like people that if anything comes up in terms of like maybe there's another business opportunity, like my head goes to like, oh, maybe I'll see if he's interested and wants.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like
and we've all gone through again, like we kind of it was a significant event in 2020 what happened. Like we can go back and say we've been through a lot of ups and downs for the past 2 years, but like we're not done yet.
No,
with the ups and downs. There's so much coming on the horizon.
And that's also the factor of like you needing like having these relationships and people where you can lean on and be like, hey, what do you think about this? What should I do here?
Yep.
What's the
Yep.
Maybe you've been through something that I haven't been through, so I can hit you up, be like, hey, what do I do here?
Yep.
You know what I mean? That having those relationships, I think, is really, really, at least for me, like it's
invaluable.
A ton.
It's invaluable,
100%.
And I have those people that I reach out to all the time.
Yeah.
Even though I do this, I do on an hour per hour basis. I do this more than all these guys.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like they might know more about like certain topics than I do.
Yeah.
And I might not feel great about something. I'll reach out and I have these people, and we've built that over the past like 2 years. 100%. And some of them work for me, some of them don't. But I know most of them, well enough to where I can feel like I can trust them. And I'm always looking for people that I feel I can trust. And some of those trusted people become employees, and some of them are just guys that come into the shop 2, 3, 4 times a week, and we talk shop, and I buy from and I trade from and stuff like that.
Yeah, you do business together.
We do business. We're business partners.
100%.
Yep.
I think it's time for giveaways, bro. They're both largest.
They're both largest.
Yeah, we'll do the same person.
Okay.
All right, hold them up.
Yep.
So is this like a new design?
This is a new design.
What's good?
Our old design is currently sold out, but this is the new design. One of our customers actually framed. He made this. His name is Ryan Flates, cool. And he made this artwork for us, and it's framed in our shop. And we decided, you know what, our next run of T-shirts, let's make them this. And I think they came out really cool, and they're super comfy, and
cool.
Rep the Burbank Sports Cards. I think it's really a really cool shirt.
Fire.
Yep.
I'm gonna start the giveaway on this one. Let's see. Again, this is our first time doing this, so we're learning.
Shout out Whatnot.
Shout out Whatnot
for sure.
All right, I'm gonna start the giveaway for the merch. We have 44 entries so far. Wow, this is filling up. All right, we have a good amount of people so far, so I'm gonna draw the winner right now. So again, if you win, you get 2 T-shirts, size large, repping some Burbank Sports Cards merch. Ant-Man 1 with the W.
Nice.
Shout out Ant-Man 1. There we go. All right, so that is done. Now we got our 3 slabs. Let me see which one we should do first. All right, you tell me. Okay, we have a KD 2012 Flawless Ruby 12 out of 15 BGS 9.
That's cool.
We have a LeBron Topps 221 PSA 9. We have a Zion Williamson 2020 Kaboom PSA 9.
Oh, that's cool.
Which one do you think we run first?
Run the LeBron.
Run the LeBron?
Run the LeBron. Yeah.
Okay. We'll run the LeBron pin item for giveaway. Kyle, if you want to show the card real quick, it's going to be a little bit. Yep, it'll be a little bit blurry, just because we're still new to this, but somebody said shout out to Kyle's hand. Okay, I'm gonna draw the winner then. We're good. We got 100 entries, so I'm gonna draw the winner. Dave Mo 33 with the W. Ooh. You just won a $700 to $800 card for absolutely free. Shout out to Dave.
Sick.
That's fire.
I should get in on this.
What?
I should get in on this.
Do you have the Whatnot app downloaded on your phone?
Of course.
Are you sure?
Let me get in.
Binder's gonna be upset if you don't.
Of course, I have it on my phone.
Kyle doesn't even know either. Let's see.
About my phone or about his phone?
Oh, he has it downloaded on his phone.
Okay.
Which one should we run next, though? We have the KD and we have the Zion.
Save the
Zion for last.
Save the Zion. Yeah.
Okay, let me start the giveaway for the KD. Binder said I'm not mad.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, you can show it. Show the KD. Kyle's hand is out there showing the KD. Again, it's going to be a little bit blurry just because we're still getting new to this.
Let me see. Let me see the KD. Oh, that's actually nice. Oh, it's an auto.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a big card. That's like a $1,200 card.
You should have done that one last. It's
too late. Same thing.
It's too late.
I listened to you.
Yeah, I didn't know it was an auto. You didn't say it was an auto.
Rad Ripper said, "What's up, Cal?" Okay, yeah, we're giving guys. This is 3K in giveaways. Like first episode, we want to start off with a bang. That's why I brought the GOAT in Ryan in. Yep. That's why I had to do bring the heat for the giveaways. This KD is very, very sneaky. I think you want getting some KD right now is also a good play.
So hold on, you're giving away $1,000 card to just someone in the room. You just
literally. We have 112 entries right now.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's huge.
That's huge.
What's everyone else doing?
I don't know.
Sleeping. That's $1,000.
Literally,
that's
right
one
now.
in 100 chance.
Then now it's 115. Are we good, Kyle, for running it? Everything looks clean. Yeah. Okay. I mean,
it's 1 in 115 for 1,000.
115 people.
It's crazy.
All right, we're drawing winner. Let's see. Rad Ripper won.
No.
Rad Ripper won.
Oh, shit.
That's our boy. Shout out Rad Ripper. Shout out Jared. You just won a $1,200 card.
That's crazy.
On the podcast, on Whatnot. You just won a $1,200 card, bro.
Yep.
That is my boy. That is my dog.
That's some gas money from here to Burbank.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Dude, gas is $6 a gallon now.
Yeah.
It's shisharoo.
Yeah, he needs it. He needs it to make the
Oh my God, I'm stoked for him,
That's
bro.
Great. That's great.
There you go. Shout out Jared. All right, last but not least, this is a sneaky play too because Zion's coming back.
Zion Kaboom. This year or no?
I think it's supposed to come out this year.
I don't think so.
No, there's rumors that he's going to come back this year. Yeah. Okay, we're loading up. Honestly, I'm good now. Jared won. I'm good.
Yeah.
Are you entering this giveaway?
Might be.
I might bet the Dawson and enter, bro. Binder, did you enter? Like, what's the word? Like, why are we're just giving away money? Nice. Jared just texted me and said people are gonna think it's rigged now.
I mean, he won. There's only 115 people. I'm not only 100.
I'll tell you guys this. There's so many stuff going on, like in terms of technology wise, I wouldn't have enough time to
program
to rig whatever.
Yeah, I don't trust in your abilities to do anything like that.
Binder said I'm not entering, but Ryan should enter.
Yeah,
I'm gonna draw. We got 122 people in here.
Run it.
124.
You run it.
All right, here we go. We're at 125.
It's 20 kabooms on.
20
kaboom. Okay, nice.
It's not rookie, no.
Yeah, that would have been pricey.
Man, I'm not made out of money.
I know.
I'm still giving away $3,000 worth of stuff.
Gotta eat,
bro. Gotta eat. All right, draw winner. We're drawing. Just Tilly.
Okay.
I don't know who that is, but congrats, Just Tilly. You just won a $1,000 card.
It's a lot of money.
Those were our giveaways. I mean, I feel like we gave away some crazy stuff. Congrats to everybody who won. If you didn't win, we're gonna have some more cool stuff, soon in next episodes.
When's the next one?
I can announce who the next guest is.
Oh, you gonna announce live?
Should I?
Yeah.
All right, guys. The next guest, which will be next Monday on the Whatnot app.
Next Monday?
Yeah.
1 week from today.
1 week from today.
Okay. At what time?
I don't know the exact
depending
time
on traffic.
Yet. Yeah, depending on traffic.
Yeah. Just leave open in like an hour.
Yeah, definitely like an extra hour for traffic.
At earliest this point.
Our next guest, you'll like this one, will be Kenny Chow.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
YouTuber, hooper, content creator.
That's gonna be good.
He will be in studio.
Yep.
And we're gonna be on Whatnot Live.
Just let him know to allocate 2 hours for traffic.
Yes, he'll probably come in early and we'll play basketball before, so he'll be here.
Good.
He'll be here early.
That's good.
But Ryan, I think that was a dope episode.
Yeah. That was very
cool. Like it?
Yeah. I mean, the setup.
You like the setup?
Everything.
I showed you the pictures when I was painting this wall.
It's great. You put the work in.
Work.
It's great.
Well, I'm glad that you were the first. How
many ups? How many ups we got? We thinking?
How many episodes?
Yeah.
For it should be like, I think it'll be 35 to 40 episodes for 6 months. So.
Oh wow.
Double, yeah, 70-ish for the year.
Crazy. Okay.
But yeah, I'm excited. Again, this is our first run. It did go like pretty decently smooth. Yeah. But again, Ryan, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. You're a busy man.
Yep.
But I wanted you to be the first guest, and you made it happen.
It's worth it.
Now Ryan understands traffic though in LA traffic.
I don't drive much.
So he doesn't drive much.
I have a better understanding of traffic as of today. That sucked.
But
it's going to suck on the way back, but it's okay.
Once again, guys, I would highly recommend you guys checking out Burbank Sports Cards if you're in the LA area. It's like it's like Disneyland. If you're in the area, you have to go.
It's really cool. We actually we have a video.
We do
on your channel.
Yeah, we do. We do. You can actually go to I don't know, probably like 20, 30 episodes back, and it's like
July.
a full tour of the new shop.
Yep.
So you can check that out. So then when you come in, you're a little bit more prepared. And yeah, I mean, that's going to be the first episode of the podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You're going to be able to watch this. If you're live right now, you're going to be able to watch this on YouTube on Wednesday. Nice. And it'll be out on Spotify and Apple podcasts as well. Anyways, guys, I appreciate it, and we'll see you guys soon.